Are you a parent who say these things? Stop crying. Stop whining. You're fine. You've made your point enough now. That's not even a reason to cry. In fact, I'm going to give you a reason to cry. My name is Wendy Ologe, and I'm the founder of the Intentional Parent Academy. Some of these words are, these phrases are very common with parents. And you agree with me? The last one is one phrase that we heard a lot growing up. I'm going to give you, maybe you want to cry. I will give you a reason why you must cry. Now, before I go on, I want to let you know that this phrase is many, adults and parents don't even realize how much emotional harm this can cause to a child. Telling your child to suppress their emotion causes them to actually miss out on opportunities to learn some really important life skills. Now, forget the fact that these phrases don't even work. Let's not even talk about that. But we're talking about the harm that it causes in the long run. All right. It is very important to note. I understand that it's very hard to listen when you are throwing a tantrum or when you are even crying. Most times when you're telling a child, you said many parents want to advise a child when a child is throwing a tantrum or when a child is angry. Sometimes I can't get it. I often say that an upset child is not a listening child. So when a child is upset or when a child is going through the big emotions, that's not the time to advise or to shut down or whatever it is that you want to actually do with your children. Now, because you don't let your children feel what they feel, you actually shut them down over the time. And when they become adults, you have people who have repressed emotion or people who have, who express their emotion in a way that they shouldn't express it. When you validate a feeling of a child, it actually reduces the frequency of a tantrum. When a child knows that when they throw a tantrum or when they're angry about something, and you're able to say, okay, I'm here, I get it. What are some of the things that you should be saying to your child? What we call it supportive phrases when your child is crying. One of the things you want to know is that you don't need to fix it by ordering them to stop. When you do that, you are trying to fix it. So you can say, it makes sense that you're upset, and it's fine. When you understand that this is what you're going through, it reduces the feeling of loneliness in that time. Like nobody really understands me, or whatever it is that your children will say at the time. Sometimes you can use the phrase, just tell me, how are you feeling? A few days ago, my daughter had an outburst. My daughter is 14, by the way. Something she was upset about, and she started to cry. From my own personal perspective, it was nothing to cry about, but I know better. So I said, so how are you feeling right now? Do you think you want to talk about it? She was like, okay, I will. And I just gave her time. And while I looked at it from my own viewpoint, that it was nothing to be angry about or be upset about or cry about, but our emotions were valid. What I thought of that emotion at that point in time wasn't the most important thing. The most important thing then was to validate that what you feel is okay to feel it. Now, whether she's correct in feeling it is another conversation for another day. Another thing you can do is to say, I am here for you. Sometimes your children do not need you to just advise. They're not looking for this advice that you're giving. I call it wisdom parenting, knowing when to advise and when not to. Sometimes your child is just looking for wisdom, not advice. All you need to do is keep quiet and assure them that you're there. Just ensuring that you are there for them, no matter what, means the world to a child. This is so important for us to note. Another thing you can say to the child is that it's okay to be sad and frustrated. It is fine. Acknowledging that not so happy moments, or what you call the emotions that seem bad, is something that is okay. Get your child not to be afraid while experiencing them. We've made anger, for instance, sadness so hard for our children to connect. Now we're having children who can handle those emotions, and boom, the next thing we're hearing is that people are committing suicide because they cannot, figure out or be resilient about the thing that is happening. Another thing that you can say is, if you like, I can help you work these feelings out. By the time I was speaking to our daughter at the time where she had those, feelings, and I was like, okay, so this is what we can do. And then, by that time she was calmer. Having a parent help you in crisis, whether big or small, makes a huge impact in the life of a child. So, but unfortunately, most of us don't know how to help ourselves. Not to talk about how to help the child in crisis. So you need to learn how to help your child yourself. Talking from this point, you will realize that a parent who cannot manage their emotions will not be able to carry out or say any of these things that I have said to you right now. It looks easy, it looks simple, but you need a lot of emotional, intelligence to actually be able to carry this. Emotional consistency, emotional stamina, emotional skills to actually be able to put this in place. I wrote a book called Raising the Emotionally Skilled Child. And in that book, I said in the opening chapter, if you are not an emotionally intelligent parent, you cannot skill your child up emotionally. Which is why we run the Becoming an Emotionally Intelligent Parent course, which runs every year, once every year in the academy. This year again, we're open and the course registration is up and going. And we are looking forward to having thousands of parents again joining this course. Last year, we had thousands of parents from all over the world, and it was mind blowing. Do not leave the skills of emotions to chance, because this is where you now create children who can barely lead themselves emotionally. And one of the biggest advantage you can have in life is being able to be responsible for your emotions. The Holy Book says that he who can manage themselves is greater than he who can lift up a gate of a city. I want you today to think about it. Are you that parent who is struggling with their emotions? Are you that parent who is angry when your child is upset? Are you that parent who is always everywhere? This is for you. Join us at Becoming the Emotionally Intelligent Parent course. The link is in bio. Have an amazing day. My name is Wendy Ologe, and I'm the founder of the Intentional Parent Academy.